Hi, I'm Liv, and welcome back to the Book Nook. Hey guys, so it's the 4th day of Vlogmas, and I'm not gonna do this every day. Yes, day 4 of Vlogmas, and this weekend just gone was my last weekend off before Christmas. So I've got the house to myself, and, you know, I had been planning on using this weekend as a kind of get everything in order before Christmas, check if I've got all my Christmas presents sorted and things like that, and then I thought, no. I decided I didn't want to spend my last weekend off doing stuff that I had to do or needed to do. I wanted to just chill for a weekend. Yeah. So I've spent the weekend curled up reading books, and it's been right nice. I got myself some ginger nut biscuits, I got myself like a fruit and nut medley, I got myself some Stollen. Love me some Stollen. I've always got to say it like that, Stollen. So I've just been drinking lots of coffee and tea and having lots of yummy snacks. And yeah, I have spent my weekend curled up. So I thought I would just do, for today's Vlogmas video, a little wrap-up of what I've read over the weekend with my little cosy weekend. Because I've got days to fill and, yeah. And the first one is Tom Gould's Goliath. You guys, I'm sure will remember how much I loved Mooncop. It's about Goliath, of David and Goliath. And he's not a warrior, he's happy doing admin, and he gets roped into this thing that's bigger than him. There's really sweet interaction in there between Goliath and his little shield bearer, who is smaller than his shield, and it's adorable, and the ending is, well, you know what happens to Goliath. Spoiler alert. So yeah, another Tom Gould that I love. Then I decided to read a volume of manga, which I've realised when I hauled it, I was saying it all wrong. As in, it's called The Girl from the Other Side, but it's not by Ciul Arun. That's apparently the first line of like an Irish song, and story and art by Nagabi. So, I'm an idiot, is what we've learned here. So this one is about a small girl and her teacher, and it's set in a world where you have the outsiders and the insiders, and the outsiders are seen as cursed, and they're these sort of slightly monstrous creatures, and the insiders are trying to protect them. But then you've got this weird situation where this girl is with one of the outsiders, and she can't touch him because if she touches him, she will become cursed. But you get the impression that he's looking after her, he's like her custodian, rather than trying to curse her. And there's a good bit of world building in here. The atmosphere in here is so gorgeous, the illustrations, but it's absolutely fantastic. And this is volume 1, and I'm desperate to get my hands on volume 2 now, because of what happens at the end of this. I need to find out what is going on. It sets it up really well as a first volume. It starts to build the world, but gives you questions as to what is going on. The characters you sort of fall in love with and take them to your heart quite quickly. So yeah, this was absolutely fantastic, and I will be getting volume 2 as soon as possible. Then I read a graphic novel that I have been meaning to read for a while, only bought it relatively recently, and just thought, yeah, graphic novel day, doing it. Blue is the Warmest Color by Julie Marrow. I've never read the film? It's true, I've never read the film, but not many people have. I've never seen the film, never read this before. Obviously, I know pretty much what it's about. It is about a lesbian relationship and sort of coming to terms with sexuality. I didn't know the ending and the sort of framework for why this story is the way it is, kind of thing. I did not know that, so that was a bit of a sort of surprise to me, which was nice because it was one of these I think I put off because I just assumed I knew what it was about, and, you know, I'd heard so much about the film, even if I haven't seen it, and I know that the film and the graphic novel are very different beasts, or they're meant to be, but I just kind of thought, oh, I know what this is about, alright, it might be okay, but actually it was really beautifully done, and as I say, the overall framework for it and the sort of zoomed out bit of it rather than the zoomed in bit of it, I didn't know about, so I was pleased that there was still something in there that I didn't know about. Then I made the mistake of starting at about 10 o'clock in the evening on Saturday the hands down creepiest book I have ever read in my life. Like, okay, I should preface this by saying I don't read scary books, I don't read ghost stories, I am a bit of a wuss, but this is, it's Pam Smythe's Thornhill, okay, which I'm sure you will have seen doing the rounds on BookTube a little while back, and it is this absolutely gorgeous thing. The illustrations are absolutely wonderful, and the way it is set up, you have diary entries from a young girl in the 80s, that are text on the page, and then you have illustrations of a young girl in the present day moving into a house overlooking Thornhill, which is this old sort of crumbling building that used to be a care home. And the diaries are the entries of one of the girls who used to live in the care home. And I'm not going to tell you anything more than that because, honestly, like some of the early illustrations are spooky. Within about 3 pages, I was like, this is... what age is this for again? And it's one of these that's sort of 14. And now, I'm as I say, I am a wuss. So I'm probably not the right person to be judging it. But honestly, it was terrifying. Sort of, as I say, the beginning, there was some really, really creepy diary entries and some really creepy illustrations, and then in the middle I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't going where I thought it was going, and it was this really sort of kind of sweet, in a way, an important tale about sort of care homes and the importance of looking after children, and then you've got this sort of and then towards the end, and no. Honestly, the last few pages, I was just like, no, closed it and put it away. And then it was 11 o'clock and I was like, what an idiot I am reading that before bedtime. It is absolutely fantastic, though. I know that I am a wuss and I don't really read ghost stories or anything like that. So take the kind of fear with a pinch of salt. It's probably not quite as scary as I've said because I'm a wuss and I don't read this kind of thing very often. But in terms of story building, what it does, it's fantastic. I can't formulate words because I'm still a little bit freaked out by the whole thing. Even holding it is making me a little bit... I can just remember some of the pictures. It's fantastic. Honestly, if you are a fan of ghost stories, whatever age you are, get this. It will scare the bejesus out of you, but it's so brilliantly done with just atmosphere dripping the whole way through it. It's ghostly, it's epic, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Anything else that Pam Smye does, is it Smye or Smee? Have I said it both times in this video? I can't remember. Anything else that Pam does, I will be all over. Even if it is so terrifying, I'll just make sure I read it, 8 o'clock in the morning with the lights all on. Oh, I think I need a sip of tea after that. Honestly, reliving it. So in order to counteract the heebie-jeebies that Thornhill had given me, I went to bed and thought I would read a little bit more of Ali Smith's Winter. I'd read a bit more of this on Friday evening, and I've since read some more on Sunday. Saturday evening was not the time for me to read it. I couldn't get into it, but I am a lot further into it now, and it's picking up its pace, and it's just glorious, and I've sort of gone past the bit that I'd already read and refreshed myself, and thoroughly enjoying this. But mainly on Saturday night, to counteract the heebie-jeebies from Thornhill, what I read is a book that I am so happily surprised by it, and so happy to have had my preconceptions shattered, my notions disabused, or whatever the saying is. But I'm loving it. I'm going to show you what it is now. That would be handy. And that is Nigel Slater's The Christmas Chronicles. So I saw this was coming out a while ago. It came into the bookshops. I've seen Alice Slater at Smoking Tofu raving about it. I've seen so many people talking about it. And I'd sort of dismissed it out of hand because I'm not really a big foodie person. Like, I eat, don't get me wrong, I eat. But food writing in general and recipes, I've never been, like, I'm an awful cook. I just sort of throw things together and hope for the best. I'm really bad at following recipes because I get really stressed out by them and sort of timings and things. I'm like, my oven is wrong, So I tend not to go much for food writers and things like that. So I'd been a bit like, oh, okay. And then I'd seen a snippet of, I think, either one of the extracts from here or just a bit of his food writing in general on Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay, if that's how he writes about food, I'm on board. So I picked up a copy, and I've been starting to read a few pages every night, and oh my gosh, this is some of the most beautiful writing I've ever bloody read. It is sumptuous, it is delicious, it is earthy and warm and somehow light at the same time, and it's tingling and tantalising and absolutely wonderful. It's not just a book of Christmassy recipes linked by Christmassiness, if that's what you're thinking, because that's what I kind of just assumed it was. So far, I'm only about 30 pages in. I don't care that I'm reading it so slowly. I want to read this slowly. I want to savour every word. Normally I am quite a quick reader, and I can usually, I think I average about a page a minute, something like that. But this one, I am taking my time with, and I am not going to rush and try and finish this before Christmas. I'm probably going to end up having to make myself slow down because I'm going to gobble it all out, because it is so sumptuous, and I'm going to stay up ridiculously late reading it in bed. But I don't want to hurry with this book because it is just so magical. And I haven't even got to any recipes yet at all, but already the way he talks about winter, about food and drink and all the things that encompass winter within the first 30 pages, I'm just in love with this. And you guys know by now how I am with books as objects as well. And this thing, it's gorgeously designed. It's this gorgeous grey cloth back with some foiling on there that's like bronze rather than just gold. And the pages, they're thick paper, they're luxury, they're sumptuous, they're gorgeous. The photographs in here, my gosh, they're gorgeous as well. Not just the ones of food you've got. Let me find you one, let me find you one, let me find you one. I mean, just look at that. It's got the Hugo feel, it's got the Scandi feel, because it is such a celebration of winter. You guys know that autumn and winter is my favourite season, and I've not really experienced many particularly cold ones, particularly snowy ones, but I was just captivated by the first few pages of this, descriptions of autumn turning into winter, and it is just absolutely phenomenal. I cannot wait to actually get to some of the recipes, because as I say, I've seen snippets now of how he actually writes about food, and if his recipes are like that, I'm so on board. As a celebration of winter, of autumn turning into winter, you guys know those are my two favourite seasons, and I've not even experienced like particularly cold or snowy autumns and winters, so it's kind of making me like a little bit jealous, and it's making me want to go to colder climes, but it's just absolutely fantastic. It's blowing me away, and I'm so pleased to have been proved wrong on this. I can absolutely recommend just getting a copy of this and reading a couple of pages before bed at night, because you will go to bed feeling ironically warm and cozy and somehow loved, and it's just absolutely astonishing. So yeah, that's me falling in love with a book unexpectedly over the weekend. So yeah, that has been my last free weekend before Christmas. I've had a lovely cozy time, I've had a lovely reading time, and I've just chilled out. What have you guys done with your first weekend of December? Have you been chilling, or have you been busy doing stuff to try and get ahead? Let's have a little chat in the comments below. What are you reading at the moment? How Christmassy are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10 thus far? I am probably only at about like a 3, 4. Nigel Slate has helped to sort of up it, but yeah, so far only feeling like a 3 or 4, and I could really do with getting up there. So how Christmassy are you feeling? I'm off to make another cup of tea and read some more Nigel Slater. You will see me tomorrow. Goodbye!